Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. My name is Ginger Pierce, and I am one of the travel agents with Marvelous Massachusetts. MMC is the agency that sponsors this Facebook group, as well as several others that are focused on different destinations. We are also a U preferred agency with Universal Parks and Resorts, and we were chosen by them as the top agency in the country for 2019, which is a huge honor that we are super grateful for. Have been given that moniker and that opportunity by Universal and recognized by them as being experts in their vacation product. So welcome to Sundays with MMT. This is a weekly live video series that we do in one of our Facebook groups every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. And we are really excited to be in this group tonight to talk to you about the wizarding world of Harry Potter. I know that I am a huge Harry Potter fan and that a lot of the agents who are going to be joining us tonight are also big Harry Potter fans. And so we're excited to share our love of Harry Potter and our love of the wizarding world at Universal with you. But we also want to share with you give you some time at the end of this video to have your questions answered. But you don't have to wait until the end of that video to submit those questions. At any point while we're talking, feel free to go ahead and drop your questions in the comments, and we will come back to those and get to as many of them as we can by the end of the video. We are using a platform called StreamYard to go live tonight. And so StreamYard may ask you to approve it to display your profile picture and your name on screen. Just know that you can deny that permission and you can still post your comments or questions anonymously. We'll still be able to see those and interact with you. But I'm joined tonight by three of our marvelous agents. Ladies, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. And if you would please just take a minute to tell us your name, tell us how long you've been with the agency, and let everybody know the best way to contact you if they're interested in planning a vacation.
Hi, I'm Sonia Delario. I have been with the agency since 2016. The best way to contact me is by email. You'll see it on the screen, sonia@marvelousmousetravels.com.
Hi, I'm Chrissy Foreman, and I've been with the agency a year this month. And the best way to contact me is chrissy@marvelousmousetravels.com.
Hi, everyone. I'm Christine Nestrick. I have also been with the agency since 2016, and you can find me and all my travels at my Facebook page, which is listed on the screen at Christine Marvelous Mouse Travels.
And again, my name is Ginger. I just celebrated my 3-year anniversary with the agency last month. And the best way to get in touch with me is to actually visit my blog, which is gingermmt.com. That has all of the different links to all of my different social media platforms in one convenient location. So, ladies, as we all know, there are two parts to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter at Universal Orlando. There is Diagon Alley, which is located in Universal Studios, Florida. And then there is Hogsmeade, which is located in Islands of Adventure. The Hogwarts Express obviously runs between those two. And what's cool about the Hogwarts Express is that experience is actually different depending on whether you are originating in King's Cross Station or Hogsmeade Station. So it's definitely worth riding the Hogwarts Express both ways so that you can have both experiences. But one of the coolest things about the Hogwarts Express, if you're riding from King's Cross Station over to Hogsmeade, is that you can actually watch people disappear through that barrier as they are entering platform 9 3/4. In fact, we have a quick video clip of my family running through the barrier that we'll put in now. So let's go ahead and pop that up.
There she goes.
So that just gives you, a little example of the attention to detail and the level of theming that you can expect from the Wizarding World. So if you are someone who loves the Harry Potter books or loves the Harry Potter movies or both, this is such a fun vacation destination for you. So let's start with Diagon Alley because, that's obviously where Harry Potter began his story in the Wizarding World. So what attractions will travelers find at Diagon Alley?
So
go ahead.
Sorry.
We're all so excited.
I know. The big attraction in Diagon Alley is the escape from Gringotts. That's the main one that everyone wants to go and see. That is following the story of when Harry escapes from Gringotts after trying to get the Oh my God. What's it called?
Horcrux.
Horcrux,
Yeah,
that's it.
Hufflepuff's cup. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's my favorite, actually. Everyone always says that Hagrid's is their favorite attraction, but I think that Gringotts is right up there with it. I love that ride.
Yeah, I love that one too because it's such a cool marriage of the 3D kind of ride simulator, but it's also on a coaster track. You've got that really fun 30-foot drop right at the beginning where you're kind of hanging over the edge and you're like, then you're off. So yeah, I love the integration of story with also those fun ride elements. Now, we can't mention Escape from Gringotts without talking about the dragon. So tell us about the dragon. Anybody that wants to.
I will. I was just there a couple weeks ago. So the dragon gets a little grumpy or feisty every once in a while, and you'll hear her sort of grumble, and then suddenly this huge ball of fire will come out of her mouth, and just as quick as she does it, it's over, kind of thing. So you got to watch for it, or sort of line yourself up with your butterbeer to stare in that direction so that you don't miss it. But it's loud, and you definitely know it's there, and it's so awesome. Like, I could just stand there and watch it all day. I don't even need to ride anything.
Yeah. In fact, we have a video clip of that right now. So let's check that out. It's always funny to me to kind of see, like Christine was just talking about, to kind of see people standing in the street in the Diagon Alley with their phones and cameras and everything out ready to try and capture one, which my husband was really fortunate to have gotten that awesome picture that we showed just a second ago of where he got, that he got the blast right as it was. Yeah, that one right there.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's an awesome picture. And so he just happened to be in the right place at the right time. So Diagon Alley does have one ride attraction, which is Escape from Gringotts. That one does accept Universal Express Pass, so that's a really exciting, opportunity to ride that with a little bit less line. Let's talk about the ride queue on Escape from Gringotts. What's your favorite element of that ride queue?
So it immerses you in, like if you were actually in Gringotts Bank. So you are in the line outside and there's posters of everything that's going on, or what is allowed and what's not allowed to put in a bank. And I think there was even something about keeping your dragon in a in a vault somewhere. So it minces you like you're actually in this bank and you're going to take a withdrawal, or you're going to store your money or your gold inside this bank. So you're not waiting in line for a ride, you're waiting in line for the bank teller. And then once you get up into the ride inside, you're there with all the bank tellers. So that's
so
really
realistic.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Definitely. It is. It's beautiful in there. I mean, it's like the marble floor and the chandeliers. I mean, you really do. You feel like you have stepped onto the set of one of the Harry Potter movies. It's just down to the last detail. It's really awesome.
And the goblins seem real, like as they're moving, that is what they're called, goblins, right? I just had a moment. But like you kind of stand there and stare at them as if, are they really fake, or are they real? And they're, are they pulling a fast one on you? Because they move, they have hair, they're just so realistic. And that chandelier that you see as you walk through the bank part is just beautiful. It really looks just like the movie, like you said.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's move on and talk a little bit about restaurants or snacks that we can find in Diagon Alley. So what restaurants or snacks are there?
Butterbeer.
Yeah.
Butterbeer.
Is there anything else?
Yeah.
I was going to say, is there anything else? And they have some adult spirits at the place that you can get the butterbeer tucked off to the side there. So, for
they
the
do. And the name
group.
of that is completely escaping me right now, but I literally just bought a butterbeer there, like last week, and I can't remember the name of it.
Is that the hopping pot?
The hopping pot. That's it.
Yes.
The
thank
hopping
you.
Pot. Yes. Yes. That's the one.
And then
they have the candy store too.
Yes.
Yes. Sugar plums, sweet
sugar
plums,
sweet. I don't know.
Sweet. They also have Florian Fortescue's ice cream parlor, where you can get that amazing butterbeer ice cream.
Yes.
That's actually my preferred method of butterbeer, is the ice cream.
Yes.
I think that one's the best, although I haven't tried the hot yet.
Yeah, I have not tried the hot either. I am a frozen butterbeer fan. That's my favorite one. But I've heard that the hot is amazing, so I want to
Me
try it.
too. Yeah, I have to try it
Yeah.
next time. It's year round now, so
Yeah.
and when I go back, for sure.
I did have it this past February, and it is
Ooh,
kind of reminds me of hot chocolate, just a butterbeer flavor of the hot chocolate.
nice.
Mhm.
But it'll still not beat frozen for me. It's still my favorite, the frozen.
Yeah. Mine too. I love it. So also we can't talk about eating locations in Diagon Alley without talking about the Leaky Cauldron. The Leaky Cauldron is a quick service location, which is really great because you can have lunch or dinner there without a reservation. They are doing mobile order. You can walk in. Certain vacation packages have the option to pre-purchase a breakfast at the Leaky Cauldron, which is a really neat opportunity too. If you would like the idea of having a reservation, you do have the opportunity to do that with a couple of different vacation packages. But I love the Leaky Cauldron, especially for breakfast. I'm a huge fan of breakfast there, but I do like a lot of the lunch and dinner options there as well. And that's another thing where you do feel like you're in the movie, like you feel like you've stepped out of the Muggle world and into the Wizarding world for sure.
Yeah, and if you pay attention to detail, the actual sign for the Leaky Cauldron will leak on you, just like it does in the movies.
Yeah,
Oh,
it does. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So what about shops? What kinds of shops, retail locations will we find there?
There's a lot. Excuse me. There's a lot in Diagon Alley. One of my favorite ones is the Weasley Wizard Wheezes, where you can go in and see their joke store and browse through all their creations.
Yeah.
And it's really needed there too, because they have the creatures going around the ceiling and then things moving constantly. So it's very entertaining.
It is. And they've got the fireworks up in the top too. Like if you look all the way up to the ceiling, you can see they have their enchanted fireworks going off. We've already mentioned, I think it is Sugar Plums, if I remember correctly. I think that is the name of the candy store. I feel like it starts with an S, but I'm pretty sure that's, I know Honeydukes is the one that's in Hogsmeade, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. Any other favorite shops for you guys that you like to visit?
I just enjoy the Nocturne Alley area of the park, and then you have Borgin and Burke's back there that you can see the Vanishing Cabinet, and it's just a really neat part. And especially if you have a wand, there's some hidden spells back there that you can try that are sort of off the beaten path. But I think they did a really good job with that shop. And if you don't know it's there, you kind of have to turn back. So look for that one for sure.
Yeah, and that's a good point about the wands too, because that's a question that we get a lot in this group, which is like, what are the wands? What's the purpose of the wands? How does the wand ceremony work? So does somebody want to take that question and explain to us how Ollivanders and the interactive wands kind of work?
I haven't done the wand ceremony, but my daughter is 7 and she has a wand, and I've also played with it. So, I got it for her. So you get you can buy a non-interactive wand and it just looks cool, but it doesn't do anything. And then you can also buy the interactive ones, and there is a golden disc on the ground at all of the places within both Diagon Alley and Hogsmeade where you can use that, and it has a motion. So it tries to tell you how to do it, and you point at the laser and try to swish and flick as Hermione would say. And if you do it properly, then it will do a spell of some sort, and each one is a little different, but it's kind of hard. So just be prepared to practice a little bit, because my daughter and I were not super successful, but it's so much fun, and they're really looking all around them trying to find the spells, and there is a map as well. But I have not taken part in the ceremony, so I don't know as much about that. So I'll let someone else explain that.
I've done the ceremony a couple times. It's a little different pre-COVID and post-COVID. Pre-COVID, you would go in with a group of people that you don't know, and the wizard inside would pick one person to do take part in the show, and then that person, the wand chooses the wizard, as they say. It has a lot of fun elements in the show when they're having them try to choose their wand. And then after the show, the person who's chosen has the opportunity to buy a wand that's not available in the shop. It's only available to those who are chosen in the show. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So that's a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think that I like the post-COVID way of doing the ceremony a little bit better. It's one of those things that I feel like, this is something I hope sticks around, is this way of, being able to do it now. So I guess probably, and we didn't mention a couple of shops too. Obviously Ollivander's, Madame Malkin's is there, Quality Quidditch Supplies, the Magical Menagerie is there as well, which is where you can go in and pick out your wizarding pets. My son just got Fluffy, the 3-headed dog, from the Magical Menagerie just last week when we were there. So there's so many cool themed elements of Diagon Alley, so many things to look at. Like, even if you look at the walls of the buildings, like there's wizarding advertisements, there's little references. The Daily Prophet, as you can see here, has, its offices there. Just so many different things to look at. So I think a lot of people, sometimes they hear about Diagon Alley and they think, oh, there's only one ride there. Why would I want to go to Diagon Alley? There's only one ride. Yes, there's only one ride, but there's more, I think, theming elements to see in Diagon Alley even than there are in Hogsmeade. So if you're a Harry Potter fan, you don't want to miss that side of it, because it's awesome. So what is y'all's favorite thing about Diagon Alley? Your favorite element?
I like to just window shop in Diagon Alley. Just go in and look in all the windows and find different things, like the Magical Menagerie. It's the one with the magical creatures, I believe, and there are snakes inside the window, and there's other disgusting creatures. And then there's a place where you can keep your owl. There's a wall of owls and an owl keeper. So you just need to look in every single window, and there's something different.
Yeah, that's true.
My favorite thing to do is grab a frozen butterbeer, because it's my favorite, and then head over and watch the shows. We didn't mention the shows.
Yeah.
You have the singing. Celestina Warbeck will sing her, number one songs, and then the Tale of the Three Brothers will be acted up on the stage as well. So that's a really great element to Diagon Alley as well.
Yeah, that's a good point.
For me, it's everything. Diagon Alley is literally one of my favorite places that I could visit. It honestly, when I'm walking up that cobblestone and I see the dragon in the bank, it's the same kind of feeling I get when I'm in Disney and I see the castle. It's just like an emotional experience for me. I'm newer to the Harry Potter world, so it's all still kind of new and fun and exciting to me. But just being immersed in that environment, like I said, I don't even need to ride anything. I just love being there and seeing the shops and the dragon and everything. It's just such a great place that you really can't miss.
Yeah, I totally agree. That is my favorite thing to do in Diagon Alley as well, is just to go and look in all the windows and appreciate all of the different thematic elements that they have there. And also too, I'm with I think it was Christine that mentioned this earlier. I love the Nocturne Alley area. I just think it's really spooky back there and creepy, and exactly what you would expect, a haven for dark wizards to be. So I find that really interesting. And also too, we didn't even talk about the wizarding elements outside of Diagon Alley, but you can meet with the night bus driver out on the streets of London. You can see Creature sticking his head out the window at number 12 Grimmauld Place, out in the Muggle London, so there's a lot of cool parts to that too. And then obviously our Hogwarts Express is a cool thing too. So let's move over to Hogsmeade for just a second. And as we mentioned earlier, Hogsmeade is in Islands of Adventure. You can go to just Hogsmeade. Like if you have a base ticket, you can go to just Islands of Adventure and look at just the Hogsmeade side. But if you want to be able to visit both sections in the same day and ride the Hogwarts Express, you are going to need that park to park ticket, because again, the Hogwarts Express is moving between parks. It's going from Diagon Alley in Universal Studios Florida over to Hogsmeade in Islands of Adventure. But what attractions will we find in Hogsmeade?
The Forbidden Journey is over there in Hogsmeade. That's my favorite ride. It's a moving screen in front of you, but you tilt so many different ways. You tilt backwards, you tilt sideways, and it's just a really neat kind of ride. And then you get to see, of course, everyone in the end, and you've saved the world. So
Yeah, pretty cool.
yeah.
Grab your Dramamine for that one if you
Yes.
if you're someone that gets any sort of motion sickness, your
For sure.
Dramamine will come in handy. And
For
the
sure.
queue for that ride is the best.
Yeah.
I love that line.
Because you're essentially just walking through Hogwarts. And so, you're getting to go to the herbology gardens, and you get to see the house points and all that. I love, and I get this question all the time from clients is, can you go through the castle and not ride? And the answer to that is yes, because Christine mentioned Dramamine. I get very, very dizzy on a lot of rides that are like 3D simulators. So I cannot ride Forbidden Journey for that reason, but I don't want to miss the queue. And so on multiple occasions, I have just walked through the castle. And then as soon as I get up to where you get on the ride, I duck out the little rider swap door. And it's totally fine. Like, you just tell the attendant at the ride, I want to do a castle tour, and they'll explain, exactly when you exit and all that kind of stuff. And it's great. So if you don't want to ride, but you still want to see the inside of Hogwarts, you can totally do that. I've done it on multiple occasions. What other attractions will we find in Hogsmeade?
Hagrid's.
Hagrid's.
Yeah, can't forget that one. Now, who of you all have done Hagrid's at night? Anybody done it at night?
Not at night.
Yeah, Hagrid's in the day and at night is a completely different experience. So if you have the opportunity to ride both, like obviously the ride itself is the same, but I guess maybe more the atmosphere or the things that you notice in the ride is different, whether you're riding it in the day or riding it at night. So if you get the opportunity to do both, definitely do that. But somebody talk to us about Hagrid's. Like, what's the story behind Hagrid's? What's the ride like? What can people expect?
I'm not sure what the story is, but I really like Hagrid's because so when you're in the book and you're reading the book and you're reading it, and they're standing inside Harry's house or Harry's aunt's house, and then they suddenly appear somewhere else. So the roller coaster does this thing where all of a sudden it speeds up really fast and then it slows down really fast. So it gives you that sense that you are actually teleporting somewhere else. So that's what I like best about Hagrid's.
Yep. So you go through his magical creatures, and he's sort of like, he tells you not to tell anyone at Hogwarts because you're going fast and crazy, and he's losing things, and you see the three-headed dog, and you see a unicorn, and so you're sort of following along, and you're on either the motorbike or the sidecar. So it's very authentic Hagrid, and he's my favorite character within the story. So for me, it's a little added bonus. But you definitely go fast. There's a purple button that Hagrid tells you to press, which makes you go even faster, from what I understand, if you press it just at the right time. But it's just, you're inside, you're outside, you're in the dark, you're out in the bright sun. So it's definitely an experience unlike any other.
Yeah, for sure. My favorite aspect of that ride is the blast-ended screws because they are as disgusting as you would think that they would be based on how they're described in the books, and you look at it and you're like, oh my gosh, it's a blast-ended screw. That is a roller coaster. It is not a roller coaster that goes upside down. So if you're a chicken like me and you don't like roller coasters that go upside down, you can still ride Hagrid's. There are a couple times where you're straight up in the air at one point, you're backwards for a little bit of the time. There's those short free fall at one point, so there are some more thrilling elements, and it is fast. Like it's very fast ride.
Yeah.
But it is super fun. In fact, I would put Hagrid's up with Disney's Rise of the Resistance. Those are probably my two favorite theme park rides, period. Anywhere. So
Hagrid's is smooth though. For those it doesn't rattle you or anything. I'm not a huge roller coaster person, but if you are a little worried about it, it's very smooth at least. So
Absolutely. And I think even if you don't get the theming elements of it, like if you're not really sure what a blast-ended Scroot is or anything like that, you're still going to enjoy.
Oh yeah.
You're still going to enjoy the ride just for the speed and the thrill elements and things like that.
And it's cool because he talks to you throughout the ride, you know, on your little motorbike, you know, which is kind of neat. It's his little voice taking you through the journey. So it's a lot of fun. They did a really good job with it.
They did.
Oh, and if you get the chance, ride it twice. Do it on the bike one time and do it in the sidecar one time.
That's a good point.
It's totally different. Feels different. Yes.
Yeah.
And for those that are motion sick, the sidecar I think is a little more stable or a little less fast is what I understand. So
yeah, I think you feel a little more secure in the sidecar than you do in the on the motorbike for sure. There is a third attraction in Hogsmeade, and that is a family coaster, Flight of the Hippogriff. That is actually my son's favorite ride at Universal. Like he literally will get off of it and just get right back on. Like he would ride it as many times as we would let him. But that one it's a cool ride because you're up really high, and so you have like a beautiful view of the rest of the park and of Hogwarts and everything. So that one's a really fun one too. But that's obviously themed after, you know, Buckbeak, and you're flying on his back and everything to get to wherever you're going. So that's another option too for those who maybe aren't quite at the point, like where my son's 9. He's not quite at the point where he'll do Hagrid's, but he does like a little coaster, and so Flight of the Hippogriff is perfect for him. So let's talk about restaurants and snacks at Hogsmeade. What are some of the food options there?
The 3 Broomsticks.
Yeah,
is in Hogsmeade.
And Hogshead is there too.
Yes.
And butterbeer.
Yes,
and butterbeer.
Yeah. We can't leave that one
out. Get that everywhere.
It's true. Yeah, 3 Broomsticks, you know, same deal as with Leaky Cauldron. It's quick service, lunch and dinner. You can mobile order, you can walk in. Breakfast, they do have the option with certain packages for you to prepay and pre-purchase that breakfast opportunity, which, you know, you'd have a specific time that you would purchase that for to go in and enjoy it. But I love 3 Broomsticks. Like I absolutely love the theming in there. I like the food a whole lot. My husband always gets the fish and chips. He loves them. That's his favorite. Really good. I get the beef pasties typically, which are also really good. But especially now, you can eat, like there's a little outside back patio area where you can actually have a really great view of Velocicoaster from back there. So if you want just a beautiful view of the rest of the park, you can definitely eat outside as well. But it's beautiful inside. Like it's one of those places where you just, if you look around and just appreciate the theming, you're going to see so much stuff to appreciate. So what about the shops? What types of shops will we? Oh, we didn't mention. I'm glad that this video is on here. We didn't mention the little kiosks where you can get pumpkin juice, you can get gilly water, you can get a lot of the other wizarding beverages. And one thing we probably should point out is that there is no soda in the wizarding world. So, you know, if you're eating at 3 Broomsticks or something like that, you're going to have options like lemonade, sweet tea, unsweet tea. You know, there's other beverages, but they don't have soda in the wizarding world. So be mindful of that if you're big soda drinkers. Yeah, you will not find soda anywhere.
Interesting. I did not know
world. So what about shops? What shops are in Hogsmeade for people to enjoy?
I'm really bad with the names.
But we know Honeydukes for sure. That's the candy shop.
Yeah, well, that's one I know. Yeah, that one I know.
And that's conveniently located right next to the 3 Broomsticks. So you can go to 3 Broomsticks, have your lunch, and then hop over to Honeydukes and get your chocolate frogs or your Brady Bott's every flavor beans.
We bought that literal chocolate frog when we were there the last time. It's still sitting in my dining room. Love it.
Yeah, I did too. And then I left it in the car and it melted. Yeah, I was like, oh no, but oh well. Last time we were there, I got this really cute little cupcake too. It was like a pink cupcake and it had a little miniature tiny chocolate frog on the top of it. It was adorable.
One thing I want to say, not necessarily about Hogsmeade, but the shops, if you're having a long day, you can get Harry Potter merchandise at City Walk as well.
Mhm.
You know, because sometimes if you're in the middle of riding things, you don't always want to stop. I won't say they have everything, but you know, if you need to, you can check the main Universal store in City Walk.
Yeah, you can. And a lot of the resort gift shops will have
Mhm.
a pretty good selection of Harry Potter merchandise too.
Yeah,
So,
for
yeah,
sure. But
definitely.
I mean, my daughter's 7, and we were just there a couple weeks ago, and she just wanted to go in the shops. Like,
Mhm.
literally, she didn't care about riding anything. I mean, she
Yeah.
did, but you know, there's just so much merchandise for kids and for adults, and mugs and Christmas
Mhm.
ornaments, and you know, just
Yeah.
anything you could possibly imagine, you can find there. And she just absolutely loved looking at it. So leave yourself a good amount of time to enjoy that piece of it, because it isn't just about the rides, or it doesn't have to be anyway. You know,
Mhm.
you can really, even if you don't buy it, you know, just looking at it, especially if you're a fan of the books and the movies, it really all fits together by doing that.
It does. And there is an Ollivanders in Hogsmeade. So even though
Mhm.
in the books Ollivanders is in Diagon Alley, you can have that one ceremony, you know, experience in Hogsmeade too if you're not going back and forth between the two. So I do like to always point that out as well.
There's,
So, oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I was just going to say there's also the Owl's Post, the Owl
Yeah.
Post,
Oh, I
where
love that.
you can send a
Yes.
letter home from
Yeah.
Hogsmeade, you know,
Yep.
postmarked from Hogsmeade. And then there's Filch's Emporium, which is in Hogwarts when you get off of the ride, or you can enter from the outside as well. So it has a lot of great merchandise in there
Yeah.
that you can see. And Dervish and Bangs, is it Bangies or Bangs?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, they have Wizarding World's like Quidditch, you know,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say costumes, uniforms,
Jerseys and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
jerseys,
Yeah.
yeah. And then
Yep.
they also have the Monster Book of Monsters in there
Yeah,
that
that's
you
a
can
good
see.
point.
Mm.
Yeah, that is really cool.
Yeah,
And
we
I
saw
love
that.
how in some of the Quidditch stores, they'll have like brooms kind of floating at the top
Mhm.
of and everything. Yeah, the theming is just amazing there. So honestly, like there truly is something to see anywhere that you go in the Wizarding
Mhm.
World. Even the bathrooms in Hogsmeade are really cool. If you go to the bathroom, you can hear Moaning Myrtle talking
Yes.
to you in the bathroom.
Yes.
Which, you know, if you
I
don't
love
know to
that.
expect it, it might freak you out a little bit.
Uh-huh.
But now you're gonna hear Moaning Myrtle.
Yep.
So this is probably the hardest question I've asked you guys all night. What's your favorite thing in Hogsmeade? Probably second only to what's your favorite thing in Diagon Alley. But there are more rides in Hogsmeade, so this might be a little
Yeah.
bit harder.
I have to say Hagrid's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my
Forbidden
favorite.
Journey.
Forbidden Journey.
Forbidden Journey, yeah.
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 Honestly, I think walking through through the Hogwarts is my favorite thing. Just love that.
Yep, I agree. I like the castle from the outside.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good photo op, especially that bridge that
Mhm.
runs towards Jurassic World. You know,
Yeah.
you get a nice photo op there, and then going inside is really awesome, even if the ride makes me sick.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You know,
Just
you know
exit
what
at the ride swap.
what I also love, and I hope that they bring back soon, is the nighttime lights at Hogwarts.
I know. I
Yes.
agree.
I miss
Yeah.
that show.
They're
I agree.
beautiful. We did the special holiday tour that they offered in November and December of 2020, and they did like a Christmas version of that, and it was just like, not to be punny, but it was magical. Like, it was
Yeah,
so
I hope they
beautiful.
keep that again, because
Yeah.
my whole family's going in December. So
Yeah, it was
my-
so much fun.
fingers crossed that they'll do something similar again this year.
Yeah, I don't think you can overhype that tour, especially for what we paid for it. Like we got
It
to
wasn't
do and
much.
see so much. It was
Mhm.
really like, if they bring it back and it's a comparable experience and price, I think it's totally worth doing. It was amazing. All right, so let's do one last thing that we'll share, and then we'll look and see if we have any questions for this one tonight. But what is your number one tip for clients for enjoying the Wizarding World?
Enter during early park admission.
Yes. Why do you say that, Sonia? I would agree with you, but why do you say that?
I mean, not only can you get on the rides, but it's the best time to get your photo opportunities with not so many people, you know, in the background of your pictures. You can get a lot of fun photos during that time.
Yeah, you really can. And honestly, we know capacity is still being limited a little bit right now, but the Harry Potter areas are always the most crowded areas of the park. And so having that opportunity to get into the parks in early, an hour early to the Wizarding World is awesome, because you can get those beautiful pictures, you can get some of those experience knocked out before the crowds kind of make their way over there. And we probably should point out the fact that if you are booking through Marvelous Mouse Travels, even if you're only booking tickets, like if you're staying off site and you just need tickets, if you book through our agency, you're going to pay the same price that you would pay to book on Universal's website. But through us, you're going to get complimentary early park admission. And so you're going to get to take advantage of that perk that's typically reserved for select hotel guests. And you're going to get to that for no added cost just for going through our agency. So that is a tremendous value if you're looking for just tickets for your family, and maybe you have somewhere to stay already. Anybody else want to share their number one tip for the Wizarding World?
My number one tip is to get
No, go ahead.
To make sure you get a park-to-park ticket, because you want to ride Hogwarts Express. So definitely do that.
And mine sort of piggybacks off that. I love the Hogwarts Express, but it is one of the slowest moving lines, just because there's one Hogwarts Express, So what I would say is do the park-to-park ticket, but also do Express Pass, because it definitely makes that experience quicker. You'll still have some wait, but it will definitely lessen that for especially the Hogwarts Express, because it doesn't move as quickly as any of us would like, but it's certainly worth the wait, and Express Passes makes that even less so.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And my tip, I kind of already alluded to it already, but my tip is to ride Hagrid's in the daytime and then ride it again at night if you possibly can, because you're just going to get a really cool experience both times. And I also would echo what somebody else said, to ride it once in the sidecar, once on the actual motorbike itself, and to enjoy it. If you're maybe not a Harry Potter person and you're like, none of this stuff makes any sense to me, we did a whole podcast. The agency has a podcast called Marvelous Mouse Talk. You can find it anywhere that you listen to podcasts, but there was a whole podcast episode done on movies to watch before your Universal vacation to kind of get the theming of the rides. And one of the things, I got the opportunity to participate in that one. And one of the things that we talked about was you really only need to watch the first Harry Potter movie, maybe the second one, to get probably 90% of the references. Now, there might be a few things that happen in later books that might go over your head a little bit. But even if you've never read Harry Potter, never seen Harry Potter, I think you can still appreciate it. The first time we ever went to Universal, my husband had never read any of the books, never seen any of the movies, and he still said it was his favorite part of everything that we did, just because it is so well themed. It's really, really something special. So let's turn to our comments real quickly and see if we have any questions that have come through on here. Hello.
Hello.
Hey again. I love that there's so many options for butterberry. Oh, yeah. And, that's the great debate, right? Which butterbeer is your favorite? So. Yep. Okay, I think that's it. Well, thank you so much, those of you who watched us, for joining us tonight for Sundays with MMT. We obviously had a lot of fun chatting with you about the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. If you would like to get some more information from any of the agents that you heard from tonight, if you missed the beginning of the video, all contact information is at the beginning. Keep in mind that it is completely free to book your vacation through a travel agent. You're not going to pay any more to book through an agent than you would to book and service the reservation yourself directly on Universal's website. And we also can book anything from theme park vacations to all-inclusive resorts to cruises and beyond. So be sure to reach out to an agent if you're thinking about planning a trip sometime in the future. Next week, we will be live in our Disney World group, and we will be talking about the best snacks at Walt Disney World. I'm super excited about that one because Disney food is one of my favorite topics to talk about. So we're going to get to kind of rank order our favorite snacks snacks next week for that one. We hope you enjoyed watching us tonight, and we hope to see you again next week at 8 p.m. Eastern for another episode of Sundays with MMT. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.